Hello, today we are going to go over 5 potential business ideas. I was actually supposed to meet with Sophie Howard, who's an entrepreneur. I'll leave a link to her, but I haven't heard back from her today. This commonly happens on Saturdays. Sophie is here. Oh, awesome. So we're going to talk today. Again, audience, I am on the lookout for different ways for you guys to make money online. Goal for my channel is to help average people achieve financial freedom. And so we have Sophie Howard here today. Let me bring her on. If you're in the audience, what we need from you, hit the like button. If you have any questions as we're going, feel free to ask. Would love to get your feedback, see what questions you have for Sophie. Let's bring Sophie on. Sophie, welcome to the channel. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for hopping on. Yeah, no, great to have you. Can you start with an introduction? I think I'm pretty familiar with you. I found you, I think, on Twitter, and I've been looking at all your stuff and looking through all your stuff. So I feel like I know you pretty well. But can you do a quick introduction for my audience, just a little bit about you and your story?
Sure thing. Well, thank you firstly for having me on. I love talking to anyone who's exploring the world of online business or looking to make some changes. So I started doing this 10 years ago. I had a newborn baby and a toddler, and I didn't want to go back to work. So I thought I'd get my skates on here and think of another way to earn money. I had a good job, but didn't want to go back. And I live in New Zealand, and it's very bright and early in the morning here and late your time. And what I do is make money by selling ebooks on Amazon. I started out with physical products, and I'll explain later if we have time or want to go down that track why I think it's the best bit of Amazon. You know, everyone's got their favorite game plans, but I really like the fact it's all digital. There's no shipping containers getting lost on the high seas or stock to pay up front. So there's some big perks with the business model itself, but I just think it's a really accessible, easy to understand, easy to have happy customers without actually having any customer contact. So that's the business. But I've got 2 children and a dog, and I do lots of running and yoga, and I have a very nice lifestyle. So, you know, there's people that go and try and build an empire. That's not me. I've got a really nice lifestyle business. And 10 years in, I can't imagine doing anything else. I think I'm unemployable now.
Amazing. No, I totally get that. I'm the same way. It's like once you have the freedom, the time freedom and the financial freedom, it's very hard to go back. Even a really, really good job, it's hard to go back to just being kind of in that jail cell. That's probably a little dramatic, but yeah. One question for you. Who do you love more, the kids or the dog?
Oh, kids.
Okay.
I say this because I just found a deer leg in my living room.
Yes. Well, that's the right answer because the dog can't ever listen to this, so you'll never hurt the dog's feelings. So the kids might, and that could be a problem.
Looks like there's been a murder scene out there. So
yeah. So be careful. Be careful what you say. I have to be careful. My kids. I have an 11-year-old, a 10-year-old, and a 7-year-old, and sometimes I'll see my 10-year-old hop in the comments on my video, and I'm like, oh, I better be really careful what I say right now. So awesome. Well, can you tell us a little bit about your journey? I'd like to hear too what other business ideas you have. I know you're like me, where it's like I want as many income streams as possible, and I'm looking around for just anything. I don't really care. It's like if that could be an income stream, that could be an income stream. But can you tell us a little bit about your journey getting into Kindle Direct Publishing?
Yeah, sure. That's a good one to start with. So as I said, I was at work on maternity leave, basically. I had a newborn baby and didn't want to go back, and a toddler. And I live in New Zealand where there's not many people. So I thought, you know, obviously this has to be something online. And I watched every webinar out there. And I actually had one really horrible false start with some really scammy site with some $5,000 course. I won't name them, but I won't even say what it was because there are good people with good courses on that subject. But anyway, I got ripped off. I had a bad start, nearly stopped, nearly went back to the day job. And then a lady I went to baby yoga with, her husband was selling stuff on Amazon. And we live in the same tiny neighborhood. It's the capital city of New Zealand, but it's a really small city by city standards, like 300,000 people or something. So he was making this quite good income stream selling stuff on Amazon. So I found out more about what he was doing because it was like a real person I knew was for real making money rather than somebody I'd never met or couldn't trust. So looked at that, and then I did a course, which was pretty good. Sort of taught you how to drive Amazon. But the bit I didn't like in their course was what products to sell. So they said, just go and get some cheap plastic tack from China and stack it high, sell it cheap, put a zero on the end of, whatever you pay to buy it, and that'll be fine. So, don't like the sound of that very much. So I ended up doing a really nice quality kind of handmade product, and it sold really, really well. And I made $1.6 million in the first year. And I launched 1,000 more products. And there was probably some beginner's luck because, I was testing an idea rather than going off hard data or a proven model. But anyway, I had a great time. I really enjoyed it. The profit margins were fantastic. And I sold that business. So then I knew what I was doing, did it again, sold another business. And then during COVID, I was meant to be off to India to source some products because I'd managed to get this clever system where I'd go on tropical holidays a couple of times a year, but also visit a trade show. And I'd take clients on the trade show bit. And we were about to go to India and the borders closed. And so, wonder if my products can get in and out with these closed borders. I better start something just in case. So I'd written a little book about how to sell on Amazon, more to stop answering the same questions every time when people said, how do I do what you're doing on Amazon? So I'd written this little book. And I was teaching people what to do as well. And I was taking clients on these trips, which was really fun. So I thought, well, this book's been selling quite easily on Amazon. I haven't done anything, just wrote it in a day. It was just kind of bullet points. And I had someone help me tidy it up into a short book. It wasn't anything super special. It was just like a summary of what I do on Amazon. And so I thought, well, maybe I should do some more books like that. So rather than books I'm the subject matter expert on, like, let's just see how other people are making money by selling on Amazon. So the advantages I had doing it was that I'd come in from the product side. I'm not, a fine arts degree author, struggling artist trying to work at night, do a day job, and then try and write my craft by night and publish it and get approved by a publisher. I knew all about Amazon. And Amazon loves selling books. They started as a bookstore. So I kind of basically mashed together the knowledge I had about getting products ranked and selling on Amazon with how to outsource the writing bit to a team. And, it's keyword research to choose the right book topic, just like a product. There's no shipping and logistics. It's about 1% of the workload of a physical product. To be fair, the people who've got a really successful products business probably have a bigger business than an average book business on Amazon with Kindle. But the Kindle stuff is so simple and easy and stress-free. So I really like the model, and I like that you can just have lots of books if you want it to be bigger. So there's not many people with a $1 million book, but there's quite a few $1 million products out there. But they've got to compete really hard. They've got the cost of goods, they've got more advertising, they've got shipping, they've got inventory storage. So I still have a few products, and I still know people who do really, really well with their products. But if you want something easier than that, then the Kindle platform is very nice, and I like it a lot. And so that's where I spend my time, putting books up on Amazon. I just did a new one yesterday, and I was actually recording it on my screen as a teaching demo. And yeah, it's very straightforward. So do some keyword research, hire a writer, don't do the writing yourself, and then load it up.
Okay, I love this. I have a whole slew of questions for you. So, but first off, I really like what you said. You said with your initial business, you got lucky, right? And what I tell entrepreneurs a lot of times is the only way you can be lucky is if you're out there doing something. Because the reason that you were able to be lucky, a lot of times people tell me, oh, yeah, this person's successful because they were lucky with this, they were lucky with that. But in order to be lucky with that, they had to go out and do that. And then that's where luck comes. Luck tends to follow where people are actually doing things. And so I would encourage entrepreneurs, don't use, oh, I might not be a lucky one. Don't use that as an excuse to not do something, because you can only be lucky if the products were out there. And
Exactly.
yep. So I really like that you said it. And I like that you worded it that way, because there is luck involved. Like, there's no entrepreneurs I know who were just so brilliant that they were successful without any amount of luck. I mean, even just being born in the age of the internet is lucky, right? Because we couldn't have done this, 50 years ago or so. So love that you said that. Kindle Direct Publishing. Can you talk about how many books that you've put out there? And if you want to talk about how much you've made, I just want to give people an idea of like how much you've done, how long you've been at it, those kind of things.
Sure. Okay. I won't have very precise numbers off the top of my head, but just to give you the picture. So I started in 2020, so 4 years in. I've tried at times to do a book a week. That was a bit fast. Got a bit of a tangle, too many tabs open in my brain. So I kind of go through little bursts and do a bunch in a batch and then have a break from it and do something else for a while. But I've got a few hundred books up and selling, and I get a very steady 5 figures a month. Very nice 6-figure a year income I could live off if that's all I did. I have got all sorts of other little projects on the go because I just always will. But this is sort of the big solid backbone that's just been really steady. And doesn't, the downside is Q4, you don't get that huge bump in sales that the e-commerce and the Amazon people love. It's just steady. It's really boring. But I like it. It's very predictable and there's no overhead. So once that book's up and selling, there's nothing else to do. There's no restocking. There's no more, managing the supplier and more product. It just keeps selling. So the advertising side is quite simple. It's easier than for products or, because the books aren't particularly expensive, the budgets for the advertising aren't that big and there's not too much competition. One of the big advantages is that it's a very low competition time and strategy to be doing this. There's people killing each other to launch a yoga mat or something, but not that many books on yoga to compete against if you turn up with one of those to sell. So yeah, it's what was the other part of your question? Books, income, time. Yeah, and so I've got a little team that help me. I mean, I don't employ them, they're just freelancers, but I've got the same person who does all the cover designs, the same agency who does all the writing. So over time, just got into a nice rhythm with the whole thing and can speed it up or have a break from it. But every book I sell, is still selling years and years later, not a week later or one season or one holiday season spike of sales. They're really steady.
Yeah, no, I love that. No, a couple questions that I had about that. Were your first books successful? Because I think one thing I'm worried about for people who start getting into this is they hear, okay, Sophie's making 5 figures a month. I'm going to put my first book out there today. And they put something together, they put it out there, no sales for the first week. And then they're like, well, Sophie's a scammer. What's she talking about? I didn't make any money from my book. Can you talk about kind of the timeline of when, were your first few books, were they successful or were they kind of flops, and kind of talk about the experience getting into it?
Yeah, the first one did pretty well actually. So
well, that ruins my point, Sophie. So can you just lie and change the story?
It wasn't on day one. So it did really well, but not on day one. There's a lag because Amazon's a search engine. And so a customer searching for a book, say how to sell on Amazon, which wouldn't be a good example for somebody new because that's me as the expert. So say somebody wants to buy a book on making sourdough bread. The title of your book might be sourdough bread. There might be a picture of a sourdough loaf on the front cover of this book. But Amazon doesn't know the second your book goes live that that's what your book's all around. It needs to have a bit of data flow through the Amazon system and the Amazon algorithm, watch and learn for a bit, which keywords describe your book in its brain, not the customer's brain, but like the Amazon algorithm has to know these customers want that book. And then as soon as they've got that lag just sort of needs to work through the system for a bit. And then it might be days or weeks. It's not months or years or anything, but just it's not like an overnight you launch and you've got millions of dollars coming in. It's definitely a cumulative sort of steadier business model than something where you do a massive launch, which is good because there's no other cost or marketing stuff to do. Some people might go and do big social media things or have big email databases to launch a book to, but I don't. I assume my students don't. We just play only on Amazon, and just that's the only place the book's for sale. Keeps it really easy. Amazon's got all the customers looking to buy. And so everything's just optimized for that one platform. So the keywords, how we write the title, the kind of images on the cover, it's all done to be successful in the long term and to keep on the good side of Amazon. So I'm in various Facebook communities of people that publish, and anyone who ever has issues in this space are doing things like buying reviews or putting the word bestseller in their title or not following some instruction about something. Amazon's very fair, but very clear. And so you don't mess with Amazon if you want to be on their platform. And so I think if you just follow the Amazon rules, use a good research tool to pick the right book topic. The book production bit's quite mechanical. There's not a lot of original thought required in that piece of it. You're just outsourcing to expert writers. It's really nice because there's lots of people there who want to write the book for you, and we'll do all the research, whatever the subject. and do an amazingly high quality job for around $1,000 or so. So the book production bit of it's the easiest bit, actually. The thing you need to pay the most attention to is choosing the right book topic, because you want there to be plenty of demand and over the long term, but also not too competitive. So you don't want to be trying to do ketogenic diets or something that's sort of a fad then goes. You know, you want something evergreen subject and
Okay.
not super popular. Don't try and be a bestseller. Just have 100 quietish books or 10, you know, just steady
Yeah.
eddies.
Yep, I totally. You know, I don't know if you guys do base. Yeah, you guys do baseball, sure. But a bunch. Oh, no baseball. Okay, well then you might not get this reference, but several doubles is better than a home run.
Yeah.
So being consistent with, you don't need to, get a New York Times bestseller book. I mean, that would be amazing if you could, but you don't need that. In fact, I had a gentleman on a few weeks ago who he's done 37 books, and each of them does 50 to $100 a month. So none of them are huge sellers, but he's like, hey, I've got my, $3,700 a month that I make from Kindle Direct Publishing, and I don't do anything. And that's
Yep.
my business, and it's working
Yeah.
great.
Right. Yeah.
Can I ask you, for Kindle Direct Publishing? So a lot of my audience is looking for business ideas, right? Do you find, is this something that you think anyone can do, or are there certain people that, oh no, this wouldn't be good for you if you're not willing to do X, Y, and Z?
No, there's very few constraints on it. You don't need a lot of time. It's probably the lowest upfront cash cost. You know, the capital required to do this would be the lightest of anything I can think of, just about, apart from maybe writing your own blog or something. But then you would have to put lots of time in. So it's pretty quick to monetize. It's easy to learn the system. You know, you don't want to be kind of guessing on how to do books. You need to learn. So that's the little hump of getting into it. A few days of getting your head through some training sessions and learning how to use a research tool to pick a good book topic, and then how to write the instructions for the ghostwriter to do a good job of their bit. And then uploading it to Amazon's easy. So there's no tech bits, which is good because I'm horrible at that. No techie bits, no being a writer, no big budget. So those are the negatives. I should say this in a more positive way. Easy, easy on the tech side, easy to upload everything, easy to outsource everything. There's no kind of approval process. If you were trying to get a normal book published through a publishing house, you have to get approved by an editor and shop your manuscript around. It's up to you. It's your account. You can upload and sell anything you want. There's a really nice sort of service industry around it. You know, people that do a good book cover design or use an AI tool to double check your formatting. You know, there's lots of little bits of help out there if you don't want to do any of it yourself. I don't do any of it myself. And if you end up with a really big portfolio of books, then maybe you have a little part-time freelance virtual assistant who manages the sort of production line. But even I barely need that, and I've got quite a lot of books. It's quite simple if you've got sort of a step-by-step checklist for each bit. So it's not a creative exercise, even though it's producing books. I only do non-fiction books. And someone's asking, do I have other people write them? Yes, I do. So you don't need to be a writer. It is... yeah, that's right. So I don't write the books at all myself. I choose the topics based on a research tool that we own and give my students access to. And that tells you how much people are searching for that keyword and how much in dollars per month the other books on that subject are selling. And then you know that there's real demand. And then you check out the competition. Is everything else on there because it's on Oprah's book club this month, or you know, it's a big celebrity who's just written a book on that subject, and it's sort of skewed the data. As long as it all looks like normal books that normal people could do, and you haven't heard the name of the author on those subjects, you're off to the races. Time to hit go on the production team and get them to do a new book.
Awesome. Now, did you do your own books at the beginning, or have you hired it out ever since the beginning?
Only the first one, and I never even teach people how to write their own book. It's only because I was an Amazon products expert that I'd put together this really little book on how to sell on Amazon. And I put that up on Kindle years before COVID. And it was during COVID I had that spark that maybe I should do more of these books, because it was selling quite well and I did nothing and I didn't know what I was doing. So I just figured out the gaps and the bits of the Amazon land I didn't know about and thought it was much more fun over there. So I still do like products, don't get me wrong. You know, people with a good products business are doing the very best thing ever, because those things are huge and just crank. So good on you if you managed to get the right product, keep your competitors away, and get it ranked on Amazon. That's an amazing achievement. But the was a question about the process from beginning to end, high level. Yeah.
Yes.
So I come up with an idea that I have no idea if it's any good, but go and check it out on a keyword research tool that we own. So we developed that in-house. It draws all the data out from Amazon and tells you the number of sales, the keywords, the size, the number of reviews. It just gives you a snapshot of, is this tool kind of competitive? Is it going to be challenging or easy? Is it easy because nobody's buying books on that subject? And so make sure that there's demand on Amazon and not too much competition. And then we write an outline. So there's some tools to help with that as well. The outline bit's sort of the hands-on bit that even I still do myself. I never even outsource that to my team. It's like your quality control, setting the direction for this project. It fits on one page. It doesn't need to be perfect, beautiful prose. It's just a few bullet points to the writers saying, have a look at this listing. You know, there's one here that's doing well, but I want ours to be different and write it for teenagers, not for adults or something. A slightly different demographic, or it's about sourdough bread, but you know, gluten-free recipes or something. I don't know, that's not a very good example, but you give your writers their instructions, and once you've worked with your writing team for a while, you'll be able to kind of do that in pretty shorthand, just what the brief is. And then I hand over to the writing team, pay them, and they get to work. And a few weeks later, it's usually sort of 4 to 6 weeks, 30,000 word book comes back, and they're amazing. They're really good. You know, there's not often much to do with it. It's usually formatted, proofread, edited, ready to upload in the right format for Amazon. So I open my Kindle account, press a paperclip key, upload, save, set the price, pop the title and book description in, and then it starts selling. Then Amazon pays me every month to my bank here in New Zealand. One morning I wake up and there'll be a block of 10 emails in a row from Amazon, one from each country. So they sell in all the different Amazon countries all around the world. And your KDP payment is on its way, times 10. And that's very nice.
Okay.
So it's been really fun to get the system up and running. And the students who are doing this with me are doing really, really well. There's lots of people at different ages and stages of life. Some people are doing it with their children. Some people are retirees. Some people are building an empire bigger than mine and just absolutely, you know, throwing everything at it all day, every day. Some people are making it kind of like a nice thing on the sort of the side of a day job and keeping the day job for now, but they'll enjoy putting more time into this later. But doing the work now. And it's about $1,000 or so to produce each book. And that's with a really professional ghostwriter. A really, really good job that you will not need to meddle with or micromanage them on, you know, just set and forget, which is good.
Okay. So guys, we've had other Kindle Direct people on. So Sophie, this is quite a bit different because they were teaching how to write the books. So this is going to be a different, this is even less work. You know, we always talk about how easy Kindle Direct publishing is, but doing it this way is going to take even less work. So it's a little bit more capital. You know, you have to that upfront paying the ghostwriter, but I love this. So again, if you've been looking for a business idea, and this is a good one. This is what a lot of people are doing. A lot of people are having a lot of success through this. Sophie, do you want to tell us just a little bit? You don't have to use names or exact numbers or anything, but just how have your students been doing in this? Like, what are some of the results that you've seen from some of your students?
Oh, well, there's people who are traveling and at home with their kids and, you know, just really making the most of the fact that you can run this business from anywhere. You're earning US dollars and it's very liberating. So the nice thing is just seeing people who, there's one guy who's retired and he's now started this and he's in Canada. And I won't name names. Some people I've sort of checked, can I use your story? And I can't remember off the top of my head live whose names I've got that permission from. So anyway, I'll just give sort of general stories. But he now has started, you know, producing quite a few books and they're doing really well. And he's got sort of the whole social life out of it. And he goes off and he talks to people about being a publisher and he's got these books and it's like giving him a whole new lease of life. And then there are younger people who are traveling. There's people who are kind of young mums. Like when I started with my first online business, you know, they are really motivated at that stage in life to find something that you can just do from home. And that income stream starting to make a real difference. And then there's people who are going at it really seriously, like not dabbling, none of this side hustle stuff, you know, full time, let's gun it and just, you know, make it as big and good as we possibly can. So a few questions there just about other costs. So not really, no, there's the cover design. I use somebody on Fiverr. It's sort of $30 or so ago. It's not a big expense, but worth outsourcing. Whenever my students use Canva, threaten to kick them out the program. You are not to do your own cover. You are not a designer. Here is the proof you are not a designer.
Look at
Tough
the
love.
cover. You're not a designer.
Professional. But it's the first impression your readers get. It just is awful. If you've got an amateur looking cover, it's just so bad. So I use the Fiverr designer. And you can do all sorts of variations. You know, you can do a non-fiction book and then do a workbook that goes with it. You can do, there's these things called low content books. So we teach that as a strategy as well. That's if you've got a tighter budget, but quite a bit of time on your hands. You can do the sort of more design-led journals and planners and workbooks, logbooks, that kind of thing. We teach a strategy called public domain as well, which is all the old classics. And that's a really nice one if you've got time on your hands. They aren't going to be such big sellers, and there's not really anything tricky about that model, which makes it kind of quite accessible to even more people. But I quite like them. Some of my public domain books do really, really well, so that's been fun. So we just teach all the things that you can pick and choose from, go as big or small as you like. We've got a really good support team, so the coaches on the program have contact with lots of people, have their own successful Kindle businesses. And so if something in our strategy is working really well, we'll share that. If something's not working as well anymore, we'll say, keep out of this category, or Amazon started being really strict about this rule. Make sure you know it when you upload your public domain book, because this has always been the rule, but they've started to really enforce it. So we've just got finger on the pulse for exactly what's going on and what's working. And it's really nice seeing all the success stories. We get really nice students. They want to do a good job of their books. You know, it's quality kind of business, and they want to get good reviews from the readers. So everybody's focused on making the book as good as it can be by having a professional team produce it, basically not through their own work on quality control, but just doing it in a professional way, start to finish. So it's pretty much unlimited top end. You can start really, really small, but if you wanted to make this massive, you just would produce more books. With every book, you can do the ebook, like a Kindle ebook, a paperback, which Amazon just prints on demand and ships for you, and an audiobook. So you get 3 income streams just in one language from each book. And then you can start translating it and selling it in Germany. My Italian books do really well for some reason. Don't know why. But anyway, it's been quite a blast. It's been really, really fun. I know there's, you know, hundreds of students now making 100,000, over 1,000 students, not of mine, but people selling on Kindle. I know this from Amazon sometimes puts out these statements. There's over 1,000 people making over 100,000 a year selling on Amazon. So that's very nice. I know some of them because I've taught them, and one of them's me, but there's a lot of people doing this. And I don't know how many more there are since Amazon made that statement, but it's a really nice business model. It's sort of digital, it's straightforward. I've never had any dramas with it. You know, there's other businesses, your Facebook ad account gets suspended and it's disastrous, or there's some rule about sending emails changes and, oh my goodness, can't use my email list like I used to, or something like that. So I like that you're in control of the product, and the platform's really clear what they allow and what the rules are. And if you stick within those Amazon rules, it's really, really good. And the first book you do is the hardest, of course, because you don't know the terminology and you've not worked with a cover designer before and you haven't opened a Kindle account. So there's a lot of one-off things you need to do the first time. And then once you've done that, you just keep repeating it as many times as you want. And it's really straightforward. And you can keep the same team and just, you know, feed more books into that pipeline and out they pop and start selling.
Rinse and repeat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We have a Facebook user. Is your coaching direct contact with a coach? Like, is there any one-on-one time with a coach? It sounds like you have coaches who work with your students. Yeah,
we do live weekly calls in a group. And then we've got kind of a help desk where if there's any individual issues, we'll get back to people one-on-one in that format. But yeah, the main course is set up so everyone's self-sufficient really quickly. lots of encouragement, lots of contact time with the coaches and with the rest of the community. Every week we do a live call, and then sometimes we'll do a big weekend event or bring in some guest speakers sometimes. So we keep the program nice and interesting, and lots of help, and everything's up to date. And I need to re-record a section here or tweak a template we use to assess books there, or do a case study of something that's happened that's worked really well for somebody in the community, that kind of thing. So it's been really fun, never a dull moment.
Okay. So I hope you guys can see how important Kindle Direct Publishing is and how good of an opportunity I think it is, because this is the third video I've done on Kindle Direct Publishing, because I really want you guys, if you're looking for an income stream, I get questioned every day. I need an income stream. I don't really have a lot of skills. I don't have a ton of capital up front. What should I do? This is the answer, in my opinion, right now. This is the best one right now. One of the things I love about it is it's kind of low risk too. You can put something out there and it kind of fails or flops, and it's like you didn't really invest that much. And I love that part of it. Sophie, maybe I would like to get to a couple other income streams. I don't think we'll get to 5 because I spent too long on this particular one because it's my favorite right now. But what would you say to anyone who's watching who thinks, no, I probably can't do that? Yeah, Sophie did it and 1,000 other people have done it. I don't think that I can do it. What would you say to somebody who's in that situation watching right now?
Oh, sounds like a bit of an excuse for not giving it a go, because I do think there's probably not anything much easier than this. I'd say any online business, you've got to get your content or product out there in front of customers. The beautiful thing about Amazon is that all the customers are there on one platform, ready to go shopping for something. And so if you want to put yourself out there and start a business and have something to sell, Amazon is definitely the easiest place to start out, because you're not buying traffic. You're not trying to run a social media thing and pay Facebook lots in ads or pay YouTube lots in ads to bring customers in front of your product. Plus, those people on Facebook or Google or on YouTube or Google aren't sitting there looking to buy something, whereas on Amazon, they are looking to buy something right away. They've only gone on Amazon to buy something. And if they've got a problem, a toddler who needs to be potty trained, and they can buy a book for $3, a Kindle ebook that's there immediately, that's a really good solution to their problem. So on those non-fiction books, they're very practical, they're instant resource for the customer. They're really easy for you to produce. They're really low cost and high value to the person receiving them. And I actually can't think of an easier business model. If you were to say, become a blogger, you have to deal with the Google stuff, the SEO stuff, and all the writing, or pay an agency to write, which is just as expensive as a book. Plus, that content sort of comes and goes. You know, the book's there forever, earning money every time someone wants to read it. So you only make money on your blog through the affiliate links or the ads. You've got to kind of work all these other platforms and stay current, and there's people competing with you on Google, and then Google changes the algorithm. So I can't think of anything easier. If you were really tight on budget, I would say still do the Kindle strategy, but maybe do a little bit more of the work yourself. Maybe start with the low content books or the public domain books until you can afford to outsource a whole book to be written for you. Or you could learn the system and then set yourself up 1 or 2 days a week as the assistant to someone else who's got a bigger business, because you know the skills. You know, you project management, the books coming out of their proofreading, writing, editing, cover design team, put the whole thing together as a service, you know, earn 10, 20 hours a week working for someone else. And in a few weeks, you'd be able to pay for your own books. And then once your book's earning, you just roll that income stream straight back into the next book and the next book. And I've got students who do that. You know, I've got up to dozens of books from the initial income stream of the first book, which they've then rolled back in to put into funding the next book. And suddenly there's 2 income streams, and then they keep scaling like that. So if money's a constraint, I still think it's a good strategy, but maybe just sort of tiptoe your way in and learn some skills, and then do some other earning using those skills on the side. You know, there's nothing like being paid to do something to get really good at it as well. So that's the thing I would say to do if you are not going to be able to afford your first book, but you still want to learn. And then the public domain and the low content strategies are still taught in that main program. So you could pick and choose sort of what level you start at. And then I still don't think you should ever write your own book, because it's definitely a skill to be a professional writer, and you want your readers to receive a really professional book that they're going to leave good reviews on. There's other bits of Amazon like print on demand mugs and things like that, which are also low cost of capital to get started. But if you think you're saving money by being on a free platform like Facebook, you've still got to catch the attention of all those Facebook users. So you've either got tons of time creating content, hoping to catch someone and they get their attention. And that time you'd be better actually working on something else and then funding your Kindle business, I think. So it's a bit of a long answer, but I do really think it's the best strategy. Whether you want to start really small or go really big, you just start at the beginning and then turn up the dial when you're ready.
Okay. I love this, and I would love to. I just want to keep pushing people towards this because I think it's a great way. Again, the goal of my channel is to help average people achieve financial freedom. And it's like, oh my goodness, this is like the perfect way for almost anyone to do that. So I'm going to encourage everyone watching to go over here, kindlepublishingincome.com/next level. I'll leave a link. Go sign up and at least check it out and just see, if you have questions, ask those questions. But this is something I would love to see everyone in my audience take advantage of. And we got MVP here, says, looking young, James, radiant energy, if I may. StreamYard has a new touch up my appearance feature that I've been taking advantage of. So it looks like I had a professional makeup artist. My skin is not actually this clear. It's AI. But yeah, thank you. Praise the Lord for technology, I'll say. Maybe we could do, we're not going to get through 5, which is totally fine. 5's too many. People don't need 5 business ideas. They need really 1 business idea. I would, focus. Don't try 5 things at once. Try 1 thing at once. But maybe we could do one other one. So again, if you had people, an average person who is like, I'm tired of my 9 to 5. I'm really looking for a way to kind of start a side hustle that I turn into a business to escape my 9 to 5. Kindle Direct Publishing is probably number 1 in my opinion, probably in your opinion. What would you say is a number 2?
Oh, that's hard. It depends on the skill set, but I do quite like affiliate marketing because, again, you can start quite small. You don't need a product or an audience, but you sort of chip away at the products or services you want to promote, and then the people that provide those. So there's a bit of relationship and connection, and then it's one of those nice business models you can run from anywhere. Build your audience on a platform that suits you. If you're happy on screen, get on screen. If you're good at writing emails, write lots of emails or start a little blog. So there's a bit more work, but that can be quite a nice model. The thing I don't like, it's probably easy to say what I keep clear of and why without naming names or anything. I don't like those sort of speculative business models. I like something where you create something that you own and control. So something like an ebook's great because you own the content of that ebook forever, and Amazon wants to sell ebooks forever. So that's easy. But even if Amazon changed a rule or wasn't there, you still own that ebook and you can sell it on wherever people buy ebooks or audiobooks or paperbacks from in the future. So it's sort of a nice long-term thing. There's nothing worse than doing a bunch of work and then it's done and gone, and you've got to do another bunch of work. There's no recurring revenue, which is why the book's called Recurring Revenue Playbook. So recurring revenue is good. I think if you've got lots of resource, as in close to full-time availability and a big budget, a software business is very cool because that's recurring revenue and no cost of goods, just a digital product. So I'm all about digital. I wouldn't be able to beat that for lucrative returns, but very challenging and a huge thing to get it up and launched and selling. I mean, that's not an easy start. But it's the biggest game in town, I would say, is to have a successful software business.
I would agree. That's actually how my entrepreneurship, I wrote some software that I ended up selling. And so I totally agree. And I loved software for the same reason. I had 6 failed software before the one that really took off. But since I was doing the programming myself, it didn't cost me anything. I mean, it took my time, but my time was worthless at the time.
Yeah.
And so I would just, okay, I wrote this software. Oh, nobody wanted it, but I learned how to code better. Then the next one, oh, nobody wanted it, but I learned to code better. Then finally, again, I was lucky is what some people say, but this is my 6th time building something. And then that took off. So totally agree.
Nice.
As for affiliate marketing, so obviously I have a YouTube channel, and that's what I've kind of excelled at. Is I've developed an audience through YouTube, and then when you have an audience, then there's all sorts of ways to monetize that through affiliate sales and things like that. Can you tell a little bit about your affiliate journey? How did you build your audience? I don't think you did YouTube, but how did you kind of build your audience?
No, well, I've got very limited affiliate marketing experience, so I'm not the person to ask about that. But your question was, what's another good online business model? So it is a good one, but I just focus on these books because, yeah, I think you can't do too many things at once. I've actually got a little chart on my whiteboard next to me with all the different things I've got running. I've got some content sites, and they do have affiliate links in, but they're more like product affiliate links. I've got some software because, always dreaming. That hasn't launched yet, but hopefully it will. And then I've got a few other like newsletter businesses. But the main thing is always the ebooks. I just like to have a bit of a dabble and stay current. And also sometimes I learn about something and then see the opportunity for a series of books around that thing. So I've actually published some books on things like affiliate marketing because you can study up and the writers can research current best practice. Here's some examples of really good, well done channels. Here's some examples of a newsletter based affiliate business. And you can actually research and write these things as a book and keep selling the book forevermore. So it's kind of selling the when there's a gold mine, sell picks, instead of doing the thing, teach the thing.
Oh, I say that all the
So
time.
lots
I
of my
love that.
nonfiction books work because of
I
that.
love too that even your other income ideas end up feeding back into Kindle Direct Publishing. It's like
Yeah,
when you find something else, oh, this made some money. Let's write a book about it, and then we'll get our
yeah,
Kindle Direct Publishing. So all roads lead to KDP.
I do.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
amazing. I love that. Maybe we'll kind of close with this. If people would like to get to know you more, see more of your stuff, what's the best way to, if they possibly want to get a hold of you? I don't want to blast your phone number out there to the world or anything like that, but what's the best way for people just to get more of you, see more of your content, get to know you better? What's the best way for them to do that?
Well, I do a free masterclass on how to sell on Kindle. And in there, I'll go a little bit like full detail, over the shoulder, watch the whole thing about how to produce a book. What I look at, driving the research tools, working with the ghostwriters, what kind of outline do they need? What do you do to actually upload the book? So there's a training session that you can join for free. And if you think this might be for you, but you can't quite picture yourself doing it, or you're not sure if it's the right thing for you, that would be the way to see more of how I go about it, the kind of criteria I have, the workflow that's involved, the exact costs, see how it all steps through. And that would be the way to get into it. And then when you wonder like who is it for and who's it not for, I think it's got a very broad appeal. And certainly the students who joined already and who do well, there's all sorts of different characters, demographics, young people, students, retirees, people who are really busy with a day job and they just do even more outsourcing, people who are on a really tight budget and do it all themselves with a little bit of professional writing still, but they basically have turned this into their main source of income. And yeah, there's a nice community, very constructive calls once a week to really stay focused and keep up with best practice. But the first thing to do is really just to watch that free masterclass, and I'll take you through the whole thing, start to finish, and answer some questions on that as well. So we've had a few questions here today, which have been really good ones. Got a very nice audience who follow you, so you should write a book on affiliate marketing and YouTube channels.
There you go. Hey, I'm getting geared up to really start this Kindle Direct Publishing journey, and I want to film the journey as I do it. Like go through the process, show, hey, here's how I did the keyword research. Here's the book I wrote. Here's how it did marketing wise. Oh no, this one flopped. That's embarrassing. Things like that. So would love that. Also, Sophie has a website, aspiringentrepreneurs.com. I'd advise you guys to go check that out. There's a lot of cool stuff on there. I just love the way that you think. And I love people that are just, they've enjoyed the freedom of being their own boss. And so they want to continue to grow that. And they also, I see this in almost every entrepreneur, is there's a desire to teach other people and say, I've just enjoyed what I've been able to achieve and what I've been able to, how I've been able to design my life. And I want other people to do that. It's such a different world than a 9 to 5, and, being kind of stuck in that, which, entrepreneurship's not for everyone. Okay. But if you're interested in it, go check out Aspiring Entrepreneurs. She's got a lot of free resources, some books. Of course, if there weren't books there, I'd be, kind of questioning if you're legitimate. But we will go ahead and wrap up there. Audience, you guys are amazing. Again, I'm so thankful for you guys watching, because that's what lets me connect with all these amazing people. Again, that's why I'm able to connect with Sophie's, because I have this YouTube channel and was able to connect with her and say, hey, do you want to come on the YouTube channel? But then I get to meet her. And so appreciate you guys. And Sophie, thank you so much for sharing your expertise, not keeping it to yourself. You could have found this gold mine and been like, okay, I'm there. I'm set. My family's set. I'm going to leave it at that. But thank you for sharing it with others. And thank you for coming on the channel here today and sharing with us.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to talk about it, James. It's been really nice. You've got lovely comments there and people asking questions, and you've built something really valuable that lots of people will get the big break, the entrepreneurial idea. Maybe someone's got a book in them. Everybody's apparently got a book in them. This will be the moment where they make the decision to go and get it out there. So hopefully it's been useful for the listeners and watchers.
Thank you so much, and enjoy. So it's morning there now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Morning. Okay. So it's 1 p.m. here. So enjoy the rest of your, wait, now is it February 25th there right now then?
Yes. It's my Sunday morning, 7 a.m.
Okay. What does the future hold for us? Still the 24th here. That always blows my mind. You're a different day. That's crazy. So brilliant. Awesome. Well, hey, thank you so much, Sophie, and have a great Sunday. And we'll stay in touch, and we'll talk to you later.
Lovely. Thanks, James. Talk soon.